Lawsome, the podcast for law firms. Powered by ConsultWebs.
I'm Jake Sanders.
And I'm Tanner Jones.
Today we're talking about content marketing for lawyers and how to use it effectively to generate awareness, cases for your law firm with
Annette Choti, owner and founder of LawQuill.
But before we get to that, here's a word from our sponsor.
Since 1999, ConsultWebs has been helping law firms connect with clients on the web, connect digital marketing success with firm success, and connect their business goals to proven strategies that help them get the most out of their legal marketing. Go to consultwebs.com to learn more.
And now, a Lawsome interview with
Annette Choti, owner and founder of LawQuill.
So, Annette, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited.
Well, I hope we don't let you down. So give us a brief rundown on your path from you have a JD, you were working with the feds, and then you opened up a content marketing agency, LawQuill. Can you just give us like a little bit of the runway and then the takeoff?
That's about it. No, so I went to law school after going to graduate school for theater and film and doing professional comedy. I guess I needed to get a haircut and get a real job. So I went to law school and then I worked for the federal government for 2 decades. And that afforded me, I don't want to disparage that opportunity because it afforded me a lot of benefits. You don't get as much money, but you do get benefits. But after 20 years, it was a bit soul sucking. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And the idea of writing law firm content marketing kind of fell in my lap because there was a person that I knew that had talked to me about it, just very sort of, completely at random. So I started doing it, and my husband actually said, if you really, really enjoy doing this, perhaps you should consider doing it for a living. I was like, that is crazy. And the long story short was that he, with his support, I'm very blessed. With his support, he said, I really think you can do it. So at first I was just writing for other very, very large digital marketing agencies, cutting my teeth, learning everything. And I thought that would be it. That would be where I would stay. But I grew frustrated with the fact that very large law firms have the funding to pay $20,000 a month or whatever it is for their digital marketing. And I felt like there were a lot of small and solo law firms that just simply can't compete with that. And I thought, well, I think I can do something about that. So then LawQuill was born.
Awesome.
And I do only work for small and solo law firms right now. So that's the trajectory.
And so what's been that response on the solo and small law firm front? Because it seems like that's a large percentage of the legal market, but people don't think of the budgets that are there, the marketing potential budgets that are there. So talk about how you kind of helped free up. Is it a mentality that they had, or did they just see the product and knew what was going on? Talk to content marketing with people who are really budget conscious. I mean, who is everybody, really?
Yeah. I do think that, it's like anything, right, Jacob? Some people get it and some people don't. So I have to talk to different audiences. But I will say this, I noticed the time and time again, what I heard from small law firms was, one, we can't afford the large digital marketing agencies. Number two, SEO, which is search engine optimization, trying to get to the top of Google, seems like this overwhelming thing that I can never learn, which is true. It's like it was harder for me to learn all of that than law school. That is actually the truth. And And then finally, it's the fact that then what they do is they say, well, I have a website and I have these other things. I just need some content. And these large marketing firms are saying, or even mid-sized marketing firms are saying, well, we want to do everything. We want to do your website. We want to do your content. We want to do your social media. And they're like, well, no, wait a minute. I just want content. They're like, well, there's the door. So then small and solo law firms are relegated to going to content mills. And, they'll pay 20 or 50 bucks for an article, which is cheap, but it's not optimized. It doesn't have keywords. And so there's just this huge desert in the middle, which is frankly, like you said, exactly where the majority of law firms are. And so my goal with my company is not just, obviously, I do like to make money, but one of my overarching goals, I decided to start this entire endeavor was to demystify SEO for small and solo law firms. So when I'm visiting with small and solo law firms, I actually take them through the journey of how I write an article. And then at the end of it, every article that they get, I actually give them the keyword that I'm trying to rank for, how often that's searched every month. Because I think that small and solo law firms, they're like, well, I gave you my money. Now, what am I getting for that?
Yeah.
And
sure.
There's digital marketing agencies are like, don't look behind the curtain. We're going to just do our stuff and don't ask questions.
It is the sausage. It's a bit of like, you don't want to know what's in the sausage sometimes, right?
Right. But then you also don't know, well, am I winning? Am I losing?
Yes.
Is this working? What's going on? What am I paying for? Yeah. And so it really is one of my overarching goals in my business is to just demystify. And it's why I do podcasts like this. It's why I always give consultations and actually, frankly, just chat with people for free a lot, just because it's my goal to say this is overwhelming, but I can help give you some little bite-sized steps that you can take that will actually legitimately, realistically help your SEO.
Well, so, and here's a question. If content is the answer, why aren't all law firms of all sizes just going for it? Why if this is the answer, why isn't everybody just doing this?
Because I think that they're trying to run a law practice. So it's hard because when you are a small law firm, right, you have to do so much. You have to practice law, get clients, run your business, do marketing. You have to,
do it on their own. I hear what you're saying because they're a solo, and the whole thing is there's only one person in this firm. That's what you have to keep remembering. Mm-hmm. There's only one or two people. So I mean, it is very obviously bare bones. Now, here's the question. You're saying, how you want to demystify it? You want to measure it. How do you point to traffic and leads generated from content? That's the question. Okay.
So now this is getting into, the one other thing I will say is that the reason that some people either don't do it or not, or are not successful when they actually do it is because, listen, every lawyer is most lawyers, the majority are very eloquent writers. It is not an issue about writing. It is the fact that there is a formula that you need to follow regarding SEO and keywords, and they just simply don't have that expertise or knowledge. They haven't learned that part. So even if they are prolific writers that are, very eloquent in their writing, it doesn't mean that they will get the traffic that they want. And then what was your next question?
So the question is about that traffic and then turning it back into attribution, saying, you want to measure this stuff. How do you, Annette, at LawQuill say, here's what we've done? Do you know what are the deliverables? What we do
is, you either have time or money. And at LawQuill, we use special tools that we pay for that help us determine keywords that, we do a lot of research on that for every client to try to find keywords that they're ranking for. Now, keyword, just so that we are all clear on that, is not just a word. It is a phrase that everyone puts in. I don't even know why they call it a long tail keyword. They could just say phrase.
There's a lot of demystifying that still needs to be done there.
That's right.
Yes, because people think it's a word, right? Because that's the name of it, but it's not. It's a phrase actually that you put into Google. So the sweet spot is sort of finding a phrase that a bunch of people are looking for, but that not a lot of people are ranking for yet. So you're like, wow, this is something that someone is really interested in. What law firms can do is look on their own website. Many law firm websites are built off of WordPress. And that can hook up, or any website, frankly, can hook up to Google Analytics. And you can see on your, it's free, you can see on your analytics which blog posts are getting the most traffic. And if that is the case, then you want to just write more articles that are in that similar vein. To try to and it's a long game here. SEO is a long game. It's not a quick fix to get more traffic to a website. So those are definitely ways. Another thing is, frankly, look at your competition. What is your competition? What are they writing about? Like, look at a law firm that has, an amazing blog, and that they are getting a ton of clients and are super successful. Look at what their topics are. They don't have a trademark on the topics. Well, you can't plagiarize them. But if you're an estate planning attorney and you see that another estate planning attorney is talking about maybe special needs trusts or unique different areas of law, maybe you should write blog posts on that as well. So if you don't have a keyword tool like, a lot of digital marketing agencies do that sort of facilitate the process and make it, give us a lot of data to make those decisions regarding what type of articles. If you are just a law firm looking for articles to write, a great way to do it is to also not only just look at your competition, but just start typing something into Google and see what their suggestions are in Google in that drop down as you start typing in. And that will give you clues. And then here's one last clue. Once you type in, let's say, wills versus trusts attorney, or you put in bankruptcy attorney in Phoenix, Arizona, if you scroll all the way down to the very bottom of the first page of Google, it will say something like, basically other people searched for these terms.
Oh, yeah.
So you should be looking at those terms too, because Google is saying, hey, guess what? Other people are searching for these exact terms. Here's just a gimme, right? It's just easy. It's right there. They're giving you the answer. So those are a few free ways that you can do it. And I think that there are a few different keyword tools on the internet as well that are free or a little or inexpensive. They don't give you the power that the more expensive tools do, obviously, but that's a great way for a law firm to start.
So here's my question: how do you balance, a blog, a legal blog, in between this esoteric key phrases and interesting stuff? Like, is that like? It seems like it's just a bit of a placement exercise, and not, sometimes where does this eloquence come in? Do you know what I'm saying? Because if the blog is entitled, best, wills trust state's attorney, New Jersey, and that's the blog title, you know what I'm saying? How do you make it palatable? You know what I mean? Because if somebody would just kind of ham-fistedly walk into the SEO world, they would write robot content. Maybe you'd pay somebody to write this robot content. How do you make it palatable? How do you make it the general public? You know what I mean?
So what I say is this: generally speaking, every article needs to speak to two audiences. You need to be speaking to your potential clients. You need to be giving them relevant information that they are looking for. Now, just to extrapolate on that a little bit, we all know that people are not searching law firms on the internet for fun. I mean, I do, because that's what I do for a living.
Right.
But people are not just on a Saturday afternoon saying, you know what, I'm going to look at some law firms.
It's a weird pastime.
So usually they're coming to your law firm because they're freaking out about something. They think they need to declare bankruptcy. They were just served papers. They got a DUI, whatever the issue is. And on top of that, every lawyer knows that the people that come to their office, or now in COVID world, just pick up the phone. They all ask the same questions within the first meeting or within the first week or the first month. At some point, they will all be asking these same questions. Those are the articles that you should be writing first, because you are trying to form a connection on the internet. You've got a hot minute to do that. So you're trying to form a connection with potential clients and assuage their fears and try to give them relevant content that they can then use and feel a little bit calmer, and then eventually feel like, wow, this person really gave me some great information. I'm going to pick up the phone and call. So it's the first audience you're trying to reach out to. The second audience are the Google bots. Now, they are not our robot overlords yet, but it's pretty close. The amount of intelligence that they're only getting smarter.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Sometimes well,
I found one in my bushes the other day and I said, get out of here, Google bot.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm still convinced, although I have no actual evidence, that they do listen.
Oh, they got you
on our phones. But the interesting thing about Google bots getting smarter and smarter and understanding content more and more is this. Digital marketing agencies that are trying to gamify everything and play the game and do a bunch of keywords and stuff keywords in and all of these sort of robotic things, Google bots have caught wise to that now. And they are reading content in a much more human-like fashion than I even care to discuss right now.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, you need to have those keywords and certain headings in there that have keywords in them, so a Google bot can understand what you're talking about. The best practice, Jacob, the very best practice that an attorney can do on their website is to have articles that have relevant content that are interesting to read, that, oh, by the way, have these keywords in them. So you are still trying to write content that would be user-friendly, understandable to potential clients, give them answers they're looking for, and, oh, by the way, has these keywords in it so that Google understands it as well.
I like that.
Annette, I think that's huge, and such simple, practical advice that, going back to Jacob's comment earlier, why isn't everyone doing it?
Right.
I think part of it is, you're exactly right, Annette. They're wearing so many hats within the business, it's impossible. But going back to the practicality of it, there are ways to recycle a lot of that content as well, which I think is worth noting. I mean, if you're handling these common questions as a law firm and some of these initial consultations, you can then turn around and recycle it, from the website. So there's also ways to maximize the value of that work. And then, as you said, you're prioritizing that content. People tend to do the discovery type research, like what you're talking about, before they get to the point of, like, more towards the bottom of the conversion funnel, if you will, where they're actively looking for a law firm, and ending a search phrase with bankruptcy lawyer, estate planning lawyer. At that point, they're committed to hiring that lawyer. But I think what you're suggesting, and we've proven it ourselves as well, when you can reach people in that information stage, that's the opportunity to really start relating and forming relationships, building confidence and trust. And so I love that that's the strategy and the approach. And candidly, ConsultWebs, the group we're affiliated with, we work with those bigger advertising firms, and we're not often able to work with the small firms that you're helping, simply because of budgetary restraints. And so I love that there's a solution for those groups, and what you're offering sounds tremendous.
Well, thank you, Tanner. I will say this about repurposing content, because I think that is huge. I think that one of the things that I visit with all of my clients about, who eventually sort of all become my friends, is that you can take one piece of content, and I think at one point I had 44 different ways that you can spin one piece of content. And what I mean by that is that, if a piece of content is 1,000 words, you can slice it up into 4 different sort of paragraphs, and you can put one paragraph in every quarter in some sort of scheduler. I personally use SmarterQ, but there are others out there that you can then have traffic once a quarter coming to that blog post from LinkedIn. You can do 4 of them on Facebook, on your Facebook group. You can put it on a separate Facebook group. If you, for example, are a car accident or a motorcycle accident attorney, you may have your own Facebook group, but you could also create a Facebook group just for motorcycle enthusiasts. And I know someone who's actually done that and found a lot of success because they all talk about motorcycles all day, but then when they need an attorney, they know who to call. You can also take that content and spin it on Twitter. You can make a podcast out of it. You can make a video out of it. You can make, just short snippets of audio. I mean, there's so many ways to repurpose one piece of content. So really, it has to start with the content, and then you are just sort of spreading that content over all of the internet and social media, and even Google My Business. A lot of people don't know you can put posts now on Google My Business, on your Google My Business page. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of different places you can put this. And just like you said, Tanner, people are reading this content in different places. They're hearing about it, and then maybe they don't need your services quite yet, or are still in the decision-making stage of the funnel. And then eventually they make a decision based on that content that they've read, or maybe they've seen 3 or 4 posts from you or something like that. So I absolutely agree with you on the repurposing of content.
Wow.
Is critical.
Those are great.
Easy, frankly, to do.
But it's seemingly easy. We gotta take it easy on the word easy, because what you just said is really brilliant. Taking it just paragraph by paragraph and meting it out over, as a content strategist, that really kind of made my heart sing. And you're just like, oh, well, did you think about it? There's so many different ways to get people's minds going. So how, if you had just one piece of advice to give the law firm owner in regards to content marketing, what would it be? Would it be find that key phrase? Would it be hire you?
Yes, it would be.
I knew it.
I'm just kidding.
I knew it, Annette.
I would say that. No, really, honestly.
No, seriously. If you only have just one
slice
on content marketing, what is it for you?
I think, honestly, done is better than perfect. Google rewards people who are putting something out there versus nothing out there. So, people ask me, what's the best content I can do? What's the best keyword? What's the length I should have an article? How many times should I publish a week? And what I say is, whatever you're going to do is better than what you're doing right now. So that's the best answer I can give you. If all you can do is 500 words and with no keyword research, that's better than doing nothing, because at least Google is seeing fresh content out of your website. If you're already doing maybe a blog post every 2 weeks that's 500 words, make it 1,000 words and make it every week. If you're already doing 1,000 words a week, invest in a tool or an agency or something to help you, either write that content for you or help you with the keywording or something like that. Wherever you are is okay. Just take the very next step. And, the truth is that Google will reward the people that are either, it's either time or money, right? So either you spend a lot of time writing your own content, researching keywords, writing valuable content, putting it on and then repurposing. Either you're going to spend time doing that, or you need to spend money. But I will tell you, in every single presentation and keynote that I give, I say, out of everything you can possibly do on your website, really the best thing you can do is to put quality content on your website. Because if you don't have it, Google just sees a website as dying. If it's not growing, it's dying. So I don't know whether that answers your question or not, but that's
Yeah.
usually the answer that I give.
How can people learn more about you and find you online, Annette?
Well, like I said, one of my major goals is to demystify SEO. So if people are curious and have questions, I am more than willing for absolutely free to talk to anybody about their website, about questions they have about SEO. You can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Annette Choti, Choti, and or you can email me, and that's at Annette, ANNETTE, at LawQuill.com. Or you can visit my website where all of that is sort of linked, which is LawQuill.com.
For show notes, links and info, go to thelawsomepodcast.com. Be sure to follow us on social and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcasts. Until next time, stay lawsome.